Okay, so we all know by now that Kanye can write some pretty unhinged things on X, formerly known as Twitter. Kanye tweeted something pretty uncool recently about LittleBigPlanet, and I'm going to explain why he was wrong. So Kanye's been in the public eye a fair bit recently. He's been ranting about Taylor Swift, as well as sharing anti-Semitic slurs and then deleting his X account. I don't want to elaborate on these slurs as they were really horrible, and this is not what the video is about. Usually some of the stuff that Kanye tweets about is so out of pocket that it's funny, but his recent rampage was just kind of cooked. The bone that I have to pick with Kanye is that he said this about LittleBigPlanet. Fuck LittleBigPlanet. I'm sorry, what? First of all, I want to apologise to LittleBigPlanet that Kanye said this about you. I adored LittleBigPlanet when I was 15. I loved that game. So basically, I am going to take the rest of this video to show you guys why Kanye is wrong. LittleBigPlanet was first released in 2008 for PlayStation 3. The LittleBigPlanet series is created and produced by British developer Media Molecule and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment. It now has 6 full-length games as well as 2 Sackboy spin-offs. This video is about the first LittleBigPlanet, the OG one, which is the best in my eyes. LittleBigPlanet is a physics-based game with the tagline, play, create, and share. Okay, so this room is called the Pod. It is the lobby of the game where you can access different things within the game. I decorated this when I was 15, so no judgment please. The game has a playable story mode, as well as a level creator where you could share your creations online for other people to play, or play other people's created levels. So here you can still see some of the levels I created when I was probably 15. You could unlock different stickers and materials in the story game which you could then use in this creator mode. This is an old level of mine that I created when I was younger, and I will say that this isn't a very good indicator of what you could do with this mode. I just wasn't very good. So this is the level editor. You could edit the levels by opening up the options and then going to the goodie bag. As you can see, there's options of materials and stickers that you can use and then place them wherever you like. Save other people's created levels to your planet and then later play them or edit them to make them your own. Okay, so back to the creator planet, you can see that these levels have some cool pictures. These levels would have been made by someone else and I would have saved them to my planet. These levels are a bit more advanced than what I was capable of making at the time. But here are good examples of what you could do with the creator tool. Now, apart from Stardoll and Club Penguin, LittleBigPlanet introduced me to online gaming. The online servers for LittleBigPlanet 1 have been indefinitely offline for a little while now. Now, this has made a lot of fans quite sad. You could also play created levels and story mode with other players online. However, most of my playtime was put into the story mode. The game is inspired by real Earth. There are 8 different countries that have levels inside them that have been created and inspired by that country. Sadly, there is no Australia though. Basically, you are the Sackboy and you progress in the game by completing the levels. Gameplay consists primarily of 2-dimensional appearance and a 3-dimensional style platforming game, like jumping and avoiding obstacles to successfully navigate to the end of the level to win, similar to Super Mario, Trine, and other platform games. You could run around and collect different items found in these bubble things, which were usually new outfits, stickers, or materials to use in creative mode. The smaller bubbles are just points. The story mode begins in the gardens. The gardens seem to resemble England/Europe. These levels are intro levels where you learn how to run, jump, and other game mechanics. At the end of these tutorial levels, the king sends you to the savannah to begin your adventure. You begin to travel to the savannah, which resembles Africa. On the way to the savannah, you accidentally destroy one of Zolo's creations. When the level starts, you are sent out to find Zolo, and you make your way through the jungle. Zola agrees to forgive you if you can find out what is troubling the bison. At first you suspect it to be fire, but then it turns out to be crocodiles. You pass a crocodile which has been accused of eating Meerkat Strippytail. You then venture underground to help Meerkat Mum, which is a giant bear, find her son. You come across this VIP club where Strippy Tail is inside. This part of the game went straight over my head as a teenager, but I understand it now. You collect Strippy Tail and return him to his mum. A monkey is impressed by your saving skills and sends you to save Frida's wedding. You then travel to the wedding, which appears to be in South America. A wedding guest greets you and says Don Lu, Frida's groom, has gone missing from their wedding reception. You make your way to find Frida through the level, which appears to be Day of the Dead theme. You find Frida and she heard that her groom, Don Lu, went underground into the dark crypts. You meet Frida in the crypts and she sends Don Lu's dog to help light the way to find him. Don Lu's dog gets kidnapped on the way, but you keep going on without him. You come across Don Lu and he tells you that he got lost and asks you to take him back to his bride, Frida. The way back to Frida becomes narrow and he says to go on without him and he will see you on the other side. We are then told that Frida has lost it and is on a rampage with her skulldozer. You then have to outrace Frida on her skulldozer for her to realise that maybe she did overreact. Frida is then reunited with her groom Don Lu. He asks you to join him on their honeymoon to meet his uncle Jalapeño. Don Lu then takes you to the canyons and tells you to beware of the explosives while searching for his uncle Jalapeño. You are then sent out to help Uncle Jalapeño as he has been kidnapped by the evil sheriff Zapata. You use explosives to free Uncle Jalapeño from jail, and meanwhile Frida and Don Lu are kidnapped. After freeing him, Uncle Jalapeño teaches you to use impact explosives. Uncle Jalapeño then suggests to go find Zapata before he escapes. The adventure down to the mine is pretty fun, however this is where the game starts to become a bit trickier. The obstacles start to become more challenging and timing your moves become more important. You find the entrance to the ancient serpent shrine where it is believed that Zapata is. You find where Zapata's been hiding and then you defeat him with his own explosives. Uncle Jalapeño is waiting in his car for you and says he needs a holiday after all of that. He suggests visiting his friend Mags the mechanic in the metropolis. You travel to the metropolis, which appears to be America. Mags the mechanic then pretty much calls Uncle Jalapeño's car a bomb and sends you to the car yard and she will give you a cooler one. When you get to the car yard, she challenges you to race Z-Dude to win her old car back from which he stole from her. Z-Dude is a bit cocky and thinks he will win, but he ends up crashing the car into the harbour. Mags then says that we need to take the subway to go get her car back. You head down to the subway and make your way through the obstacles until you find the car. You find the car in the sewage and then you use the grabber to get it out. Meanwhile, the collector is still kidnapping more people. Mags then thanks you for saving her car, but asks for help again as Zadude is now wrecking her construction site. You then take down the bouncers before a boss fight with Zadude. Zadude then deems you a worthy opponent and then lends you his private jet for additional training at Sensei's islands. You then travel to the islands. I believe these levels are inspired by Japan. The level starts out and the collector's already kidnapping people already. Grandmaster Sensei greets you and wants to hone your warrior skills in preparation for your encounter with the terrible Onai. These levels are becoming more challenging again, and unaliving to silly mistakes become more frequent. However, the game design in the island levels are my favourite throughout LittleBigPlanet. This is partly because of the evil sushi, but mainly because if well executed, the challenges are very satisfying. Grandmaster Sensei challenges you to one last test because the terrible Onai has taken over her castle with her flame-throwing cat stuck inside. The final test is a sumo wrestling boss. These bosses are getting more challenging as the levels go on, but because you defeated the evil master, you are then able to free the flame-throwing cat. I'll be completely honest, I'm not sure what a flame-throwing cat is, but this thing is pretty cute. Grandmaster Sensei thanks you for saving her flame-throwing cat, and you are now ready to go take on the terrible Onai. You use her flying machine, which is 3 large balloons that you control by going left, right, and up. Grandmaster Sensei guides you up the volcano to then go inside and make your way past the obstacles until you come across the terrible Onai. The flame-throwing cat is already there, and together you defeat the terrible Onai. Grandmaster Sensei then sends you to the Magician's Temple so you can get yourself a flame-throwing cat from the shopkeeper. The temples seem to be based in India. You meet with the shopkeeper and he says you can take a flame-throwing cat if you can get up there. I'm a little bit confused because I don't remember seeing any other flame-throwing cats in the game, but you start to make your way through the level and cross paths again with the shopkeeper. He directs you past the dancers to find the goddess and says that she will guide your next path. You come across the goddess and she says that the great magician needs your help to bring Sharing back to LittleBigPlanet, and that you will find him in his palace that is beyond the elephant's temple. You make your way through the elephant's temple that has some mildly difficult obstacles until you find the great magician. The great magician says you are worthy to face your greatest challenge if you can make it past his palace of emitters. The Palace of Emitters is probably one of the prettiest levels in the game. It has a number of small obstacles to get past. You make it past the Magician's emitters, and the Great Magician tells you that LittleBigPlanet is in danger. The Collector, who was the one that was kidnapping people, is stealing all of the creations and not sharing them with the rest of the world. The Magician sends you to the wilderness to find them. I think the wilderness is meant to represent Russia. You meet with this bear who informs you that the Collector has kidnapped his family and to please help him find them. These levels are based in the snow, so they have some pretty fun obstacles. One of the Collector's army men says that he has gone too far and that he will help you open his bunker. After opening the bunker, he then directs you the way to the Collector. This level is easily the hardest in the game and gave me 8 out of 10 gamer rage, so maybe this is what Kanye was talking about. You free the scientist and he tells you that the Collector forced him to make the terrible machines and to be careful. You find the bear's family and free them. They help you by giving you the gate key to free the rest of the people that the Collector kidnapped. Everyone you freed rewards you with prizes. They then wish you luck and then send you to defeat the Collector. You arrive at the Collector's evil lair and he is cocky and thinks you'll never catch him. The Collector has some machines to defeat. These are kinda hard but are easily to take down once you work out the right timing. The final boss of the game is a giant machine that the Collector is inside controlling. You have to be careful of the stompy legs and the electric things that it drops. The machine is pretty hard to defeat, and just when you think you have, it transforms again. Once you take down the machine, the Collector drops out and he's just a tiny little guy. He would be kinda cute if he wasn't evil. He apologizes and swears he isn't evil, and says he did everything because he doesn't have any friends to share with. The king comes out and invites him to be friends with everyone in LittleBigPlanet, and then they all come out for the finale. I'm not sure I would want to be friends with someone after they kidnapped me, but that's the end of the story mode. I'm just going to point out a few of my favourite quirks about the game. If you get stuck at any point of the game, you can just pop yourself. Have different emotions: happy, sad, worry, and anger. You can also dress up your Sackboy in costumes you've unlocked. The game is narrated by Stephen Fry, who is a British actor, comedian, broadcaster, narrator and writer. Thanks for watching if you guys are still here. My name is Turbo Diesel. Let me know if you ever played LittleBigPlanet or any other games following the first one, and what your thoughts on the games are in the comments. Also, do we agree with Kanye? Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.